Alright, we have Sylas jungle in gold against Viego because apparently every game must have Viego, Lee Sin, or Diana. However, with the buff to damage to monsters on Sylas' Q, we're looking at the resurgence of his power. Not really, his win rate sucks and most people suck with the champion because you don't max W, you do max W, you don't max Q in the jungle. We used to back in Season 9 where you could actually do that and you would rinse clear so quickly, but back then we had, like a shield on our E and a lot higher stats. So that's changed. Let's see what this guy can do, though. Obviously, it is possible to make this champion work hardcore in the jungle. It's better than it was, right? The bonus damage to monsters on the Q means that even if you're maxing your W into your E, you're still having that extra juice, right? A little bit more to help yourself clear as you ramp up. Now, the problem is they're buffing it again. I believe 2x, but we'll wait for the patch notes to see what they're doing. So if you're watching this in the future, you might have that data, in which case, most likely, nothing changes here for what we're about to say, but you will be able to clear a little bit faster should you not find ganking angles early. Now, Viego obviously has decided to loop back around to the bottom lane, just so you guys pay attention to this. This is a heinous level gank. If that's a level. You never want to be level 2 and ganking this, right? Because all Sylas has to do now, or most junglers can do here, especially if Raptors, Krugs, Red, is now just walk on over and steal your stuff. If they pay attention to this ward and time it, they are simply going to go the long way around. Now, in this case, the ward is actually pretty shit, so you could probably skeet through that little edge there of that fog of war and not be seen. But the whole point is, why is this your level 2 gank? I mean, Rakan's level 1 still. The Kalista has no prior for some particular reason, and they're being shoved in by Pike Bearers. Like, this wave is decently thick. What gank are you actually getting here without your W? And if you're a gold and platinum jungler in this mid-MMR range and you just have to get to Emerald as fast as possible, you absolutely must head to Virkayu.gg. Not only do I have a free jungle improvement resource, I also have a dedicated program with jungle video courses, jungle coaching, coaching classes, a jungle VOD library, special weekly content you'll see nowhere else, as well as all of this hosted in a private jungle Discord. And if there is one thing I'm good at, it's making junglers go from low elo to high elo, as seen by the great number of success stories from the end of last season and already the beginning of season 14. So to climb faster than everybody you know and to jungle diff every game you play, head to Virkayu.gg or click the link in the description below. Right? Now the Rakan's gonna go in and of course miss the spell, but he's got nothing else going for him. Like, this is a pure bait. If you don't show up, he probably doesn't do this. So junglers, you have to understand that while it's not your fault that Rakan lost his mind, you still turned him on and then he lost his mind. He might have just stayed turned off and hopefully not inted. In which case you could do this, look for the mid lane, look for the top lane, a lot of things you could do. The Sylas, in the meantime, now gets a free pass. Obviously, this is the pain for the clear. As always, go follow Shapeshift on YouTube and learn how to clear on your champion, because you can easily 320 on this champion, 316 on this champion now. And, I don't really understand the whole event of what's going on here, but the Sylas... Hold on, let's just gather our thoughts here. The Viego finishes his Raptors, now sees this here dive and the low Versi. This is okay to rotate on. It's 306, 99% you expect Sylas to already be on the side. You're not going to be losing your camps, although normally you shouldn't be on the side at all. So I don't want to hear, oh look, but because I did level 2, now I'm here to pick up the skill. No, because you would be here getting level 4 full econ. You could dive this as well. There's always a play on the map. There's always more than one play on the map. It's about whether or not you sword. And when you change that mentality, it does help you a lot. Now, Rumble, Rumble's been strong for 2,000 years. Sylas has not, for some reason, noticed that he's being killed and attacked. And obviously, we'll try and go in for that heal. It's not quite enough, and he dies. And now Viego obviously getting the kill. And Varus will go back in here onto the Pike. Rakan's like, we can do it. And obviously, in this case, he does. So nice. Almost... That's what pro players should do more. Supports need to go in for the dive and be executed, because you can get away with an extra turret shot or two, and the rest of your team can be healthy to carry on the lead while you will just respawn and go roam anyway. Very nice. Now, that was chaotic, stupid, and a little bit strange. Sylas in this particular stage, not doing a lot of what we would call human behavior, but the Viego recognizes, hey, look, the guy showed up bottom lane, guy had red buff at 12 CS, guy did his red side. Took him 12 years, but he did it. And again, it shouldn't. You can full clear a lot quicker now on this champion, so if you're struggling with that, Again, focus on those clear speeds, but you don't really need to worry too much about it in gold. As long as you're quadrant clearing into impact and you have that fallback, you're in a good position. Now, Viego obviously overcommits a lot of time in the bottom lane there, and Tahm Kench now goes back to base, TP, so the dive is gone. That would have been a lane I would have preferred to snowball, to be honest with you. Just because Tahm Kench is a lane bully, he's quite obnoxious now. He's got boots and cloth armor, but look at this. Like, the champion is always pretty damn strong. But Viego decides to react to this and force a flash shot. You know, like, this is not terrible. You know, I'm not... This is not terrible. We're happy with how we're reacting and rotating to certain things, but there's always a downside if you make the wrong read, right? So the idea is there an 80% chance that I can make this play happen? Is there an 80% chance that I can make this play happen? If yes, cool, go for it. If you make the mistake and it isn't, you will lose a lot of time, a lot of tempo, and be punished. But the better you get at that assessment, the more powerful you become at rotating to the right moments and still having your farm as a fullback. Now, obviously, this ward here from the Viego was really, really good, and obviously no one has seen a Rumble lose lane in about 12 years, as we said. You can tell he's not a jungler, right? But this is just funny. From the Sylas' perspective, you're saying to me now, yeah, but what do I do in this particular situation? Now, I hope the Viego's in the top side taking those respawn camps. Ooh, okay. Not. He should be. Zed's rotating as well. These little fights here are not necessarily what we want to do, but if Callisto really just wants to int us a kill, I mean, we'll take it. Wild. Absolutely wild. Yeah, so, look. The Rumble is chasing the Sylas around his jungle. You know that the Sylas did 12 CS red buff and died on the bottom side. Gold, Platinum jungles, the biggest thing for you is jungle denial. Now, because you know he started on the side, and you rotated to get this flash here on Tahm Kench to help your Yone, go into his jungle. Take his stuff. Take it away. Because it's 450. So if you go here to here and loop around, you can still get one grub at 5. And of course, when the grubs are delayed till 6, you can adjust that tempo a little bit. Maybe you can do your camps and then look back for it at 6. Always a possibility. This would be the best way to go. Now, the reason for that is because once the Sylas, and back to the question, Virkayu, what do I do from the Sylas? You give it up, you go back to base, you control your top side. That's what you should be doing. If Viego's going immediately to this and sees the Sylas sag off, then you know Sylas is coming out of base. But will you beat the Sylas? No, because you haven't gone back to base yet. You have no items as Viego. So from our perspective, we are going to go for the Raptors and observe and watch. Going for the Raptors. We're going for the Raptors. We're doing them. Okay, this is good. Yes, Rumble, don't die to him, please. Okay, good. I'm doing the Raptors. All right, now I'm going up to here. I still got a warding totem. Put a ward in that bush there. Now I'm going to the Krugs. I'm watching. I'm doing the Krugs. All right, free. Absolutely free. I'm not smiting. I'm not smiting. No need to smite whatsoever. All right, I'm moving back around to the grubbies right now. Yes, very good. Okay, maybe not as quickly as that, but definitely now we're on the grubs, and we see obviously this finish. So once we finish the Krugs here, we can ditch. So maybe we don't get a grub here. That was probably a bit greedy, but that's okay. I wouldn't overly obsess over that because the jungle denial here was huge. You know, and watching the Sylas wheeze and try and take these is quite funny. So what you can obviously use base and then directly contest. Most likely he's going to realize everything's gone and force it. And then you can decide how you want to react to that. Right? You see that? And then our blue side will always be available thereafter. I know we haven't taken it yet, but that's fine. Because you've taken his respawn camps, and that's more valuable. And guess what? As you're about to do this, as you're about to do that, okay, watch this. From our perspective here. Here we go. As you're about to, you finish off the Krugs and you're leaving, maybe you think you can still do grubs. And I think that's fine. If you still think you can do a grub and get out, go for it, especially if you left a ward. Now you're doing that grub, and you think, I don't only get one, I get all. So you could have maybe done Raptors Krugs, and now you're going to know he's going to go back to base. He could also take your Krugs. I would assume at this point he's probably taking my Krugs. Just because that's what he should be doing if he's understanding what the Viego's doing. But in gold, he obviously will not. But, I mean, there's no reason why at 5 minutes 40, by the time he gets here, should be at least 6 minutes. 6 minutes or 4. There's no reason why all of this should be gone. Because as you can see here, this is a great equalizer. This is the great equalizer. The guy went here, 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 here. He did his whole blue side quadrant, blue grub walls. And now he's onto the grubs and he's getting 1. And if you just pay attention to where the Sylas is and keep track of when he stops to base, like that's it. Every time he shows, I take more. Every time he shows, I take more. Every time he shows, I take more. So if you just do the Raptors here into the Krugs, loop back around and you observe, you're like, okay, I'll try to take 1. He shows like, now I take more. So the time he spent doing blue is the time he could have spent doing the grubs in some capacity, either 2 or all. If you get 2 here, that's fine, because from the next patch, right? From the next patch, you're gonna get 4 grubs are needed to get the mites, not 5. So here we're at 605. I would like to assume at this stage from the future patches that the Viego here could have easily done all of these things into maybe a blue or grub, maybe just a grub, into definitely stealing one of these grubs and getting out, which is absolutely perfect, okay? Which is fine because you can take one, the Sylas shows up with atomization, you don't have it, you don't want to contest it, cool. You do have the Rumble at your service, you do have the Yone at your service, so you could actually contest even without atomization. Would I? Not really. I'd flirt and try and get my team to rotate, in which case we would get all of them, but I probably wouldn't commit 1v1 blindly at this particular stage. However, as you can see, this is definitely the play that we should have made. And now the Sylas has all of these camps to fall back to. See, look at this. This is perfect. I pause it, we talk about it. I said, look, I'd only take them if I get prior. I do get prior, Sylas is forced to give it up. So let's assume in an identical scenario, even at 6-minute grubs, at 5-minute grubs, it doesn't matter. This Sylas invested his whole life force in the bottom side because of your Rumble, because of his own mistake. So you as a Viego should have gotten all of this, plus all of this. Now you're back in your blue side jungle. You eat this whole quadrant and go back to base because you know that this Sylas will try and be aggressive, but you won't be able to do anything with your prior. And now you'll be forced to go to the bottom side. And most likely when he goes to the bottom side, he'll do the grump and then just be lost because you'll be matching him. You follow? Because that's how you get emerald. That's how you get diamond. That's how you get master tier with this precision. He makes one little error of not paying attention to the rumble, and then you just doom squat him. Really, that's the game. Like, the game here should be over because you took his whole top side quadrant, you got grubs, and you took your blue side away from him, so no counter jungling. Sure, you might get this RNG scuttle. Who knows how that plays out. But you did have the lane of prior. They did rotate. The Yone did help you fix that problem. But the problem is now we gave the Sylas 2 extra respawn camps, and he's only down 12 CS, and I feel like he should be down 30. And in my private jungle Discord, I'm releasing, by this point it'll be out, a jungle detail. It's like a private collection of videos that I make about this game where I was a Skana rework, testing it out, and this Zac had 22 CS, and I had 33, because I'd, you know, kind of gotten in his way. The Zac went from 22 to 32 CS, and in that same time, I went from 33 to 66. No joke. No joke. And all grubs. And I stayed out without basing for a long period of time. And it was strategic precision counter jungling, basically exactly what I'm talking about here, that allowed me to do that without fighting unnecessarily. And I still ganked off mid lane twice, still got a kill there, and took away options from him. So this is really what we're talking about. So that video really will compound this one for anyone who's in that community. But yeah, huge. And obviously now we do get a level 6 here. We go for this RNG dragon fight. And from the Sylas' perspective, you know, like, this is what I'm talking about. You just feel the desperation of, I don't really know what to do. But at the same time, like, okay, look, grubs are gone. Okay, you're not going to be able to take this dragon and coin flip this fight. You don't have Rumble Prio. Viego 6, Rumble 6. You know, the Pyke's level 4 tanking this whole thing away. There's no reason to do this whatsoever. Zed's in base. You have your blue side quadrant if you're the Sylas. Like, you have your wolves. You have your grump. You don't need to force a dragon unnecessarily. But the Sylas, the champion does work in the jungle, but this is why his win rate is so low, because people don't understand pressure points, and they don't understand how to actually maximize their experience and clear properly and show up at the right moments when you don't actually farm as fast as other champions. But I don't know what to tell you. That's basically it. So if you want the lowdown on the ultimate jungle tempo for coaching, this is one of those things. And I love what the Viego's doing here. I love this. I love it. Honestly, I love it. He's got such a big-ass lead over the jungle. He's like, let me go ward your jungle. If you come down for Grump, I kill you. Because he might go for his red for sure. But I like that pressure. Now, the Kallista's not really in the game. And that doesn't bother me, right? I know Varus is pretty strong. And Zed is not pretty decent. But I know I'm pretty damn strong myself as a Viego. So I'm going to keep getting in his face a little bit. Because if I waste his time like this, I still win. Because you have a big lead, and now I wasted his time, I still have a big lead. He could not catch that lead up. And that's also very important, right? You want to keep that lead either stagnant or growing. Ideally growing, but against certain champions, if you scale better than them, just keeping that lead the same the whole time is fine. Like if I'm a Karthus and I'm 2 levels up on a Rek'Sai, I don't need to be 14 levels up on the Rek'Sai. As long as I keep being 2 levels up, I'm more useful than the Rek'Sai, end of story. So that's how we roll. And now, of course, Sylas is going to the top side. And at this stage, you're saying, well, what do I do again? Well, you can't gank this because you're so far behind. You hit level 6. You have your blue buff on the wrong side of the map. The grubs are respawning, obviously. Your red buff is there. You see this, you want to go for it, but he's level 9 and you're level 6. In theory, the Viego should be resetting to come to the top side. Instead, the Viego resets to go to the bottom side. That's fine. You can't always account for that kind of directional shift. You just deal with it. And at this point, this is where you need to use your Q jungle monster bonus damage. You need to be able to catch up in your experience in gold. Now, the Sylas does show up here and is able to get a nice kill. So this, given we are here, this is a good rotation. However, the level 6 Sylas versus a level 9 Yone, you're thinking, but you said don't do that. Yeah, well, yeah, because you got 2.9k gold. Well, I mean, the Yone is 3.4, but still, like, you're not in the game, right? You're not that strong. I don't trust it. Whereas the Viego has 4.1k gold over the Zed's 3.9. So even though the Zed is up 3 levels, the Viego is still way ahead in gold, so that normalizes some of the experience advantage. And he's Viego. Like, Sylas operates the same way. Obviously, we know that. And you do want to be intelligent about ganking level 9 mid laners. And in this particular stage, you see the damage by himself is huge, right? It's huge damage, unfortunately. There is the ult from the Zed onto the Rumble. The Rumble is suffering from all the roams he did. And Zed has done a really good job of actually kind of winning these skirmishes out. But there's the smite. There's the E. Now with the Sylas. That's fine, you know? Gotta hit the Chains of Destiny, though. Did we get the kill? Yeah, we did. Now we can go take his red. Like, now you can take his red and pull that out, but the issue is obviously the Tahm Kench, but you see the Tahm Kench sag down and up again, which means easily you can take this, or you can take the grubs. Objectively here, probably we take the grubs, yeah. That's fine. I'm okay with I'm obviously that's good. See, now you'd have mites already at 4. But at the same time, you could take the red and maybe just take 2 mites. I think we'll take this. Because here, you know, it's warded. He's going to come for the red. You know he's coming for the red. I know where he is. I get the objective. I get the Scuttle Crab. I can out-track him and understand where he's going to go next. You see that little show here. I don't really know if he'll go to the Krugs or down, but I think you can assume he'll go down. It's warded on the blue. And now you can honestly shadow this or just do a good sequence down because you farm quickly. Look at him. You just watch this. Okay, now I know he's here. He's got this quadrant. What can I do about that? What can I do about that? He shows up here without taking any of the quadrant. His CS is the same. I press tab. I see that. That's why I would have preferred in this scenario to sequence down and match. That's where my mind was going. That's why you heard me say just farm. Because you can counteract this. You can counter dive this. And obviously, then you can offset the advantage from the red team. Because the red team currently has a red bottom lane. They have a red bottom lane advantage. There we go. We got it out. A red bottom lane advantage. But other people will be like, but snowballing the Yone. The Yone is fed. The Yone is good. The Yone doesn't need your help anymore. Sure, you can justify it, but do you really want to take this turret? Do you really want to take this turret right now? With your mites, your grubs? What will happen? The Yone is going to have to roam. Tahm Kench can freeze. And all of a sudden, we're trying to run around the map here, elevating the game state on losing lanes who are now going to lose their turrets, lose their positions, have experience leached. I'm okay letting the Yone just do this himself, prolonging the transition to mid-game by another 2 minutes, and allowing me to actually impact the bottom lane here. Offset the advantage, get my Kalista rolling a little bit, kill the Varus, kill the Pyke, kill the Sylas again, now push this up, take some plates of my own over here, take some more plates. I can gank this and maybe push some plates here. Set up for the next dragon, really, is where I would like to go with it. So let's see how it plays out. Obviously, if you do take this turret at this stage, there's nothing wrong with that. You were going to force rotations by the enemy team, especially now after their base. The Zed will definitely rotate as well. And you're taking his camps. There's nothing wrong with this play on paper. You just have to understand the impact it has on the map and be ready to play around it in a good way. Yeah? So obviously we use the ult there for the slow. Beautifully done by everybody. Excellent TP. Well done by the Viego. See, when you do this now, the tempo of the game goes up by a significant amount. Okay? Watch the map now. Sylas will come hold. We're pushing this, obviously. Tahm Kench gets free real estate on the top side to catch up quite a bit. Alright? Now the Kalista's trapped here. The Yone leeches experience from the Rumble. Takes some gold away from the Rumble. That, again, is what it is. I don't think we should necessarily contest this dragon. I think that's a little bit overzealous by the Viego. Is he going to get away with this? No ways, right? Yeah. There's no ways you should do that dragon. In this situation, you know the Sylas is going to go down. So if you've got Prio, you take away his blue side, kill everybody who shows up. Or if you don't, You do this, you loop back and you gank it, and then you shove this up. But, you know, that worked out okay for the Viego's team so far. But I'm still not convinced that you needed to elevate the game state, like transition to mid-game just yet. Because you haven't shut down the bottom lane yet. The Pyke is still fed, the Varus is still fed, the Zed is still fed, and now they're getting all of these plates. Now you've given shutdown, and you're not in control of the map. So you've given control to the Yone, and obviously everyone here is doing the work. Kalista does kill the Varus herself, and Rakan does the flash ulti, mech ulti, and Sylas should be able to kill the Kalista, although apparently goes for that one. So Kalista does it herself, apparently. We'll take it. Chaos. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. This is just one way to look at it. This is the other way to look at it. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. You don't always know how it's going to play out. You just have to make the best decision in the moment. And I have no issue with elevating and pushing this top lane, but I would have preferred to shadow the Sylas, just triple kill these suckers, push up and take like 4 plays for Kalista, get it back in the game, and then translate that to mid lane. Then maybe I can go top lane, etc., etc. I think that's a little better, just to maximize gold for your laners and yourself pre-14. But overall, pretty solid. Now the dragon is up. We are now going to posture and position thusly. And we'll say, yes, we take this dragon. Pyke shows up. Goodbye. TP committed for a dragon, the second dragon with low HP. Not sure that's the player there, buddy boy. That's not the play at all. And this might be a game-losing moment by the red team, by the Tahm Kench. Terrible TP, terrible contest. This shouldn't have died on the bottom lane dive either. And now the whole blue team with Viego and, of course, the Yone and the Rumble are just able to chase people down and get all the kills. Pyke is sitting here wave clearing. The only one with sense, I think, at this stage. There's just no real reason. Viego dies, obviously. There's no real reason to full commit on the second dragon. There isn't. Because you guys are losing at this stage. You lost this turret too. You need to look for plays to snowball your mid lane and your bottom lane. And from the Sylas' perspective, it was solid to go for this. But you were so compromised by your own indecision, by your own mistakes. So, Sylas is on the thumbnail, so we're talking about Sylas jungle. We stopped having anything to talk about because the guy made too many crucial errors on the champion. And now, as we always see this, they go for these 40-minute heroes. Look at the map. It's darkness, right? I'm glad he's not going for it. Overcommit by the Rumble. Maybe we can do something here. Obviously, this is a little bit of a risk because there's a Viego. Okay, so it's less of a risk now. Make sure you hit the Chains of Destiny. And now we're going to start to snowball nicely. Free kill. Very good. Viego's going to try and pull this before the Sylas shows up. Obviously, at this stage, no one wants to contest because Yone has the pride in the mid lane. So Sylas says, fine, you can have that. I'm going to go loop around. Very good. Raptors are up. Yone is pushing the mid lane here with all the mites. Pyke shows up. We're down 4 levels now. Viego takes a Herald, activates a Herald, smashes that turret. Best place to use it? Probably not. You're probably going to get that anyway. And the main thing is here to do damage as much as possible and bounce. There's the Varus ult. Doesn't really do much. Zed's rotating over here. See, that's, yeah. You know, like, that's how I feel in my brain when I see these things. Because I'm like, I get it, but maybe we were going to get this anyway. We could take some camps away and use the Herald here to punch up somewhere else while Yone pushes. Accentuate the Yone's push, like assist his push by doing it somewhere else. Because if he's pushing up here and he can handle everybody, because you snowballed him, which again, good decision, then you can obviously match that pressure somewhere else and you just force the enemy team to be split. Like, do I hold Yone? Do we hold the rest of the team? I don't know what's going on. What's my name? And that's kind of how we like to roll. But fine, everybody lives to fight another day. And now from Sylas' perspective, yeah, you're in the situation where it's like, but, you know, jungle is so weak and Sylas is so weak and mid lane is broken. But hopefully you can see that he is the reason he is in this situation. And he had multiple alternatives to shut down the Viego. And the Viego made some bad decisions that could have been punished, and they just weren't. End of story. C'est ça. This is the way it goes. That's the way the cookie crumbles. You miss a few things and don't punish their mistakes, and they punish your mistakes, you lose. The punishing mistakes, jungle denial, generally just as 2 rule principles in gold, will get you through everything. If they make a mistake, punish it. Like the Viego saw the Sylas spent 200,000 years down here and didn't fully punish him. As Sylas, who was more equipped, jungle-wise, to understand these things, would have punished the Viego's mistake in the first place and not been in that situation. Or he would have been cutting off the Viego for overcommitting on the counter jungle without checking about base timers. You see, it's a back and forth. It's a tug of war. Jungle mistakes, punish them, and, of course, deny the enemy jungler resources, gold, and tempo. all of the things, ganks, whatever it is, just deny them everything you can. And typically, they will not know how to handle it. As you've seen from the Sylas, he doesn't know how to handle this game state. He doesn't know what to do other than farm safely. And now everyone's on the bottom lane, so they pull the Baron. Perfect. Good tempo there. Zetznova is trying to go in here wide. It's over, guys. I mean, as I say that, look, objectively, you probably shouldn't contest this. You just give it to them. You push waves out as hard as possible. You take the dragon. You take their camps. Let them spend time on the Baron, take everything else on the map versus contesting. But, I mean, obviously, if they're going to overcommit after the Baron and you happen to be Sylas, you know, you kill the Viego, you get another one on the Ricard, and like, okay, you know, we'll take that action. But at this point, I'm not giving Sylas credit for that. That is, without a doubt, the blue team Astro throwing their Baron advantage, which in turn will Astro give the dragon to the red team, which is also why gold and platinum games go back and forth way too much. Way too much. We still have Baron on a couple people, though, so it's pretty good. Get into the jungle. Ward it up. Look for a pick. There is a Jonas. Yes. And Pyke is now straight up hinting, as they always do. Sylas goes over the wall in his mind, but not in reality. Viego's doing a bit of a split push on the bottom side. I'm okay with that if you trust your team, and you know you can split very much. Yep. And now you use the grubs. Take an inhib. Take another inhib. And you're on your way home. Pretty straightforward. Obviously here, don't overcommit because... You know, like, they have a decent amount... I don't really have any wave clear, but you don't really have the shove power that you think you do. And Zed is basically a mage. So in this particular stage, if you got cash money, 3k on the Viego, you can definitely agree to end, but everyone's respawning. Just be smart about it, right? Like, if you just hit the Nexus here, maybe it works. Yeah, this is always what we're worried about, not hitting the Nexus, going for the fight instead, and obviously they're coming out of base with fresh gold. Like, it's a 10k gold lead, but if you've got like 10k or 5k, 7k not spent, you don't actually have a 10k gold lead, which is 99% what happens. And Jonas not able to end, so this prolongs the game by another 90 seconds to 2 minutes as they take a Baron, and then they come back again. So, a good look inside this jungle and why its win rate is so low. You've got to be very... effective as a jungler, and on the champion your clear needs to be faster. You need to play a lot more proactive, and from Viego's perspective, you're lucky you didn't get punished, but good job controlling the game to a reasonable degree. But you would not beat Platinum, you would not beat Emerald junglers with what the Viego did. It just looks good here, and even then, you know, there were moments. So, thank you very much for watching. As always, I'll see you all in the next MMR.